for a little while, and I'm not much of an entertainer, and I'm also not awake. So I'm going to do what I do best, which is storytelling. And the story I'm going to tell you is one of need and perseverance, but it's also one of potential. And I think it's all embodied in this garden, which is sponsored by MTUG. And I hope at the end of this, or during this, you will donate to MTUG through the Telethon link. The Transgender Memorial Garden is the only one of its kind in the United States. The only one. And it's the second in the world. That makes St. Louis pretty special, which it already was. But it also makes this plot of land very, very sacred. And that became really evident on the day that we planted it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the planting, and then I'm going to tell you about what the garden means, because every element in this space means something. Everything does something for the garden, whether it's aesthetic or functional, and everything was thought through. In 2015, over the span of about 6 weeks, the transgender community conceived and planted this garden. It started with an email from Leon, who you've seen throughout this telethon. She had this idea through Plant for Peace, which is a program that plants trees in memorial to loved ones, to do a small garden to memorialize trans victims of violence. And then she identified this plot of land, which was this abandoned sort of ugly nothing here with an overgrown garden at the tip of it between Van de Venner and Hunt. And then she emailed Sayer, and Sayer emailed me. And we both talked about it. We talked about it among the group, and we all thought it was crazy, but we thought, well, why not? Let's try. And I didn't think it was going to work, to be honest. I thought that it would be like most things that I do that's social, and I would be the only one who showed up, or 2 other people would show up. But I was wrong. Throughout the 6 weeks, I met Master Gardener, Monty, and I met other volunteers, and together we planned the skeleton of what you see here. If you can pan out, you'll see that all of these trees were planted in rows. These are all hackberry trees, and along Van de Venner are red buds. And we chose these because hackberry trees are not usually used in landscaping. They're not really pretty, they're not showy. And they do well under adverse conditions. And this is adverse conditions. It's a downward slope, it's windy, it's not friendly to gardens. But we planted these here because of that. And because the symbolism of that is sort of apropos. Trans people transform things into beautiful things. And that's what we did here in this plot of land. I'm going to take you on a little bit of a walk through the garden, starting with the sign here. I built a sign just before the garden opened. It's 2 pieces of cedar put together and framed, and then I carved out the letters, and I put this quote here, which has become a tagline of this garden and sort of a touchstone for what we try to do here. And as you can see, people put rocks as memorials, candles and flowers around the sign, and it's become sort of this hallmark of the space. And behind it is a rose bush, 2 rose bushes donated to the garden. And then we come over to the entrance of the garden, which is a path that was designed to curve around. This path represents the journey that a trans person takes in their lives. And as you walk uphill, you can imagine in the spring or summertime when all of these trees are grown and shady, you won't be able to tell where you're going to go. You won't be able to see where you're going. And that's also a symbol of the journey that a trans person takes. Once you round this corner, you will see the community circle. And the symbolism of this is that your lone journey through a blind woods ends at a place where you're surrounded by your family and your friends. Folks in the community have donated benches and other elements to the garden, and I'll show you those now. Boom Magazine donated this one. Cindy Betts, who's a therapist in town, donated that one. And over here is one of the really cool features of this boat. Betty Neely, who is a longtime member of the LGBTQ community, and it's fantastic, fabulous, wonderful person, built this bench and painted it in the trans flag pride colors. And we planted it here. Over in the butterfly garden, which is over at the tip of the garden, this was already here when we first identified the plot. It was overgrown and weedy and kind of scary. And on one morning, I decided that I was going to come over here and just weed the crap out of it myself, because we only had 6 weeks to build. And on one day, on October 18th, one day, everybody was supposed to be here and plant trees. And I was scared because this was all blank and I had no idea what to expect. So I came here, I posted something on Facebook. I expected to be by myself in this garden weeding. And then a truck pulled up, or a car, I think it was at that time. And Regina Noonan got out and came over and said, "I'm here to help." And I think she had come off of a 12-hour shift at work and then worked with me for another probably 5 hours in this garden, weeding, taking up all of the overgrowth and getting it prepped for the day. So we worked on this together and bonded. And I just really have to say something about Regina, because I was the garden director for the first year, and I put in hours and hours of work on planning. And during that time, Regina stepped up in a way that I had never dreamed that somebody could step up. It was incredible. And she took what we built here on that day and transformed it into what it is now. And under her leadership in the maintenance of this garden, every single week, every day of every moment this garden has been alive, she's been here. And I really have to say thank you. So on that day, we cleared this out and we got ready for our debut. We had to do it on that day because Plant for Peace identifies that day as planting day, right? So I thought, okay, we're gonna plant here. I'm gonna have like 40 people maybe, no big deal. The day comes and I realized that it's also the rock and roll marathon. I had no idea. I don't run. I don't actually exercise very much, so I had no clue that this was going to be a marathon. And the path of the marathon completely encircled this neighborhood and cut off all access to this garden. We had no way in, no way in. And I drove around with my sister and my partner, Chris, trying to figure out how we were going to get in here to actually plant. There was no way in. There was no way in. So finally, we parked on the other side of the marathon, way down the street. And I thought, okay, everybody's going to quit. Nobody's going to try to get to this marathon. This is ridiculous. It's over. It's a failure. I have no idea what's going to happen. We parked, and it seemed like out of a movie. Everybody started to come converge on our truck and grab tools. We had shovels. We had all of the plants for the butterfly garden. We had all of the tools, the wheelbarrow, everything piled in my truck like Dr. Seuss, like really tall on my truck. And they just started grabbing stuff off of the truck and walking. So shovels over shoulders, plants carried. A big band of queers breaks through the rock and roll marathon, walks right through it and down this road. And I thought, okay, we're going to get here. We're going to do as much as we can. And then we're going to leave because we only have one day. And I thought, really, this is kind of a bust, but whatever. We get through the marathon, and as soon as we get to this corner, I see the people are already here. They beat me here. Sarah was here, a lot of other people were here, and they were already prepping the ground to plant every single one of these trees. But then there was another problem, because below this ground is a destroyed building, which we had no idea when we first started. So every shovelful of dirt, every time you got like 4 inches into the ground, you hit rock, you hit foundation. And there was no way to really get through it with a shovel. I thought, okay, this is the time when everybody's going to quit. They're all going to leave. And instead of doing that, they looked around and said, let's get pickaxes. So, a big band of queers get pickaxes and beat the crap out of the foundation that was under this ground. By hand, broke apart the foundation to a building so that we could plant all of these trees. That speaks to the need for this garden. It speaks for the desire for community. It speaks for the resilience of our community. And it also speaks of potential, because this garden is about potential. It's about the life and death of us. It's about our lives. And people were dedicated to this. So each one of these trees represents somebody by hand smacking the dirt over and over and over and over and over again until there was space to build this life. Every single tree. And in that first year, we only lost 1 tree. And that's sort of a miracle when you're doing a mass planting like this. 70 people converging on one plot of land and planting all of these trees is unlikely. And unlikelier still is the survival of that garden in a place such as this. But we did survive, and this survives. This also speaks to one of my favorite topics, which is trees, and another symbol for this garden. Beneath the surface, trees communicate with each other. They share their nutrients, they talk to each other, they warn each other of dangers of insects and predators. They share their lives together, and it's all underneath the surface of this ground, all under here amongst those broken stones. All of these trees are talking to each other, they're supporting each other. And that's what we do. And it's not always visible, it's not always pretty, and it's most of the time hard, but we do it anyway. And that's the symbol of this garden. I think that's the enduring symbol of this garden. As I said, every element has a purpose, and everything has a history here. The rocks that you see lining the path, and the rocks in the middle of the community circle, are all of the stones that were dug up from this earth. We didn't throw it away. We don't throw things away. We use them, we make them beautiful. So we made the foundation, the bricks, the rock, everything under the soil. We added it to the garden because everything matters. Every element to this matters. Even the plants. The plants over in that corner, there were some that have been handed down mother to daughter, and finally to this garden, where they live here as a representation of the love that is passed down generation to generation to generation. It means something. This garden means something. It's a sacred space, and it's also a space of celebration. We've had picnics here, we've had vigils here for kiwi herring, for the Pulse Massacre. We've had transit days of remembrance here. We've had just lunchtimes here, night times here, walks through the park here, and the neighbors actually have a green space. This is a struggling neighborhood, and there's not a whole lot around here where you can sit and be comfortable and be peaceful. And we built that, and we've shared that with the neighborhood. And it's one of my favorite things about this, is its position here. I have been a bookseller at Left Bank Books since 2002. I own the store with my partner, and I've had a long career of community service. And that first year, that first day, is probably the thing I'm most proud of in my whole life. It's the thing that matters the most. And it's up to us, it's really up to you to make it last. It's up to you to donate today your money to MTUG so that we can continue this sacred space, so that we can make the only place like this in our entire country live. And it's up to you. The future of this is up to you. The potential is here. This is about taking up space. This is our space. And it deserves to be here. As I said, I co-own Left Bank Books, and I'm going to present a challenge to you. And it's a promise. I'm going to match, the store is going to match every donation from now until 10 o'clock this morning and double it up to $1,000. If you make a donation today of $10, I'll add another 10. If you make a donation of $100, we'll add another 100, up to $1,000. And I'm going to tell you that an independent bookstore doesn't have this kind of money very often. And this is our entire giving budget this year. The whole thing. I'm all in. This matters. Are you in? You need to be in. Please donate today. And if you don't donate today, if you don't have the money, that's okay. Come help. You don't even have to know how to garden. I have no clue how to garden. You just have to be here. This meets you where you're at. If you want to be social, you can be social here. If you want to be alone here, you can be alone. That's really all I have to say. I'm not sure how I'm doing on time. Okay. We have 3 minutes, so I'm going to stretch.
Can people volunteer next year?
Oh, volunteering next year. You can volunteer by going to the MTUG website and looking at the information there. We also have a Facebook page, which you can look up. There's also Twitter. I'm not sure that's used very much, but the Facebook page will always have updates about where and how to volunteer. And volunteering can be anything from pulling weeds to mowing the grass to putting mulch down around the trees to organizing events here to publicizing the space here to hauling mulch to and from Grondolet Park. Really, you can do pretty much anything. You can paint things, you can organize art projects, you can do whatever you want here. Follow the Facebook page. Also, as I said, Regina is a fantastic person, and she, if you are able to contact her, Larissa is also one of the leaders here now, and she can also give you some contact information. Basically, go to MTUG, contact them. Any point of entry to MTUG will get you to the garden. And we do maintenance days throughout the year. This winter is a little bit, this is dormant. We won't have any cleanup days until the spring, but starting in the spring, there's all sorts of watering to do. There's always something for you to do. And if you can't come here and be active, if you're not physically able to do that, it's okay. Just come and be here. Come and support. Like I said, Left Bank Books will match your donation this hour. I hope you take this opportunity to do this because this matters to me. I hope it matters to you. If you're watching this on Facebook, you have a link just under this. Follow that and donate. Donate, donate, donate. This is important stuff. Back to you. Thank you.
Well, we're back. Did you love that tour of the garden? The garden means a lot to me because, like Jared told you, I found this space, gave it to MTUG. I thought that was necessary to, like I said, out of tragedy, something beautiful had to grow.
Yeah. Thank you, Jared, for that lovely tour and tribute to the garden and to the work and to the dedication. And we see you in the work that you do in the garden. We really appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
The garden has an online presence. Transgendermemorial.com is the new online presence for the Transgender Memorial Garden. That's transgendermemorial.com. And so check that out, and we're going to be working on that over the next few months. Yeah, that place is special and sacred, and I'm really glad that we were able to do a remote location over there for you all.
And shared with you.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
and now-
how fancy is that, really? That we did a remote location.
Yes. Because you know, the news stations ain't got nothing on us
Right,
now.
right.
Pretty
Look
soon-
out.
Pretty soon we'll have trans news.
That's right.
Yes, we'll have our own trans channel doing our own trans
Okay,
news.
here we go,
I
here
get
we
to
go,
be
here
an,
we go. Yeah, that's
I
right.
get to be an anchor, right?
Oh, yes.
I got my anchor hair on right now, so I get to be
total,
an anchor.
Total.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, we are there, y'all.
We are there, yes. But-
Imagine that.
Yes. Trans
Come
news.
on.
Oh, first we did
Our
trans
agenda all the
agenda.
time.
Yes.
Ah.
24 hours. Forget CNN.
I can see it.
Forget Fox News.
Makes me
Forget
sweat thinking about it. Okay.
We'll have TNE.
Right.
The Trans News Network.
Trans News
Network.
Network. Trans Am. And then who knows?
Right.
Okay.
Morning talk and everything. But
Everything.
most importantly, guess what, people? I'm about to burst at the seams.
Okay.
Okay, listen. We got two
It's like a
important
drum
things.
roll, but we don't have a drum. But
Oh, I'm so hungry right now. I wish I had a.
I need a roll. Just a roll.
A jelly roll, a cinnamon roll.
Okay.
I already got a fat roll, so I just need something to put in my fat roll.
we need that air horn. Okay.
All right, are you ready? We got a new total. You ready? Yes. It is $7,500. Woo! We gotta pay.
$7,500. Here comes our lovely painter.
Yes, we got $7,500. But that's not all.
No.
And there's more. For the low price of a matching fund, you just heard Jarek say that Left Bank Books will match every pledge up until 10 o'clock. So technically, up to
$1,000.
Up to $1,000. So at 10 o'clock, we could theoretically have $9,500. I know I've been up 24 hours and I'm pretty, but yes, $9,500. So that means the last 2 hours, we only need to raise $500. But what we need you all to do for us is please do it for us. Do it for MTUG.
Do it
we
for
gotta
MTUG.
raise $1,000 in the next 60 plus 10 is 70 minutes. We have 70 minutes to raise $1,000. I need you to pull over because I don't want you to drive and text because I'm not
No.
going to be responsible for your accident. So y'all need to pull over, get on your phone. We need you to go to, excuse me. Okay, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Here we
Right.
go.
Yep.
We need you to do these things. I need you personally, please do it for me and the trans people. We need you to go to stlouismetrotrans.com, click and donate now. We need you to call 314-287-5383. You can call or you can text. We will take your pledge. Or on the Facebook, because I know y'all looking at the Facebook right now. On the Facebook, I need you to go to Facebook Metro Trans Umbrella Group and then click the donate there. So please just do that. Let's raise this $1,000. We have 70 minutes to raise $1,000. I know we can do it. St. Louis, we love you. We see you. You see us. You love us. But please, let's make this happen. Because let me tell you what
Yes.
this $10,000 is going to get.
Right.
We have provided peer-led social emotional support groups for 6 active support groups. We have FemSpec, which for humans on the fem side of the gender spectrum. We have Locker Room for humans on the masculine side of the gender spectrum. We have Expression Spectrum for our non-binary, non-conforming family. QTPOC, queer trans people of color for our siblings of color who are trans and queer identities. Orchid Support Group for intersex individuals, and a private internal mixed mental support group. This money that we raise in the next 70 minutes will help get these support groups going, will help continue the work that these support groups doing. We can buy bus passes. We can buy $80 bus passes to get humans who need these support groups to these support groups, to doctor's appointments, to job interviews, to work, so they can have a sustainable life. Well, what else? I'm so excited I can hardly even speak. Through these support groups, we actively serve 100 to 130 adult humans. Let that sink in. We have 6 support groups, 130. That tells you how many people come to our support groups, and we need our support groups. And MTUG does a lot of work on an annual budget of $38,000 a year. I mean, you can look at any other local nonprofit, and that amount is insufficient to do anything. But MTUG manages to get a lot of stuff done for $38,000. This $10,000 will help fund a lot of programs, a lot of services that our trans community needs. You say we can also right now continue to invest in expanding our services, continue to paying our MSW, LCSW to serve as protective oversight of our peer-led groups. We can build capacity.
Yes,
That's what we've been saying
build
all week.
capacity.
Build capacity. Right now, and MTUG is very grateful for the space that we were provided in the basement of the World, I won't say World Trade Center, the World Community Center, but we've outgrown that space. We need a space that we can grow and we can have our support groups come and meet there. Disabled individuals can come. It's in the basement, and accessibility for those to get there. So this money that we raise today is going to be very important. It's going to change lives. So we just need you to please donate as much as you can. If you can do $5, that's fine. To know whatever, if you have 50 cents, we'll take every little penny counts, and it helps. And it stays right here in this community, and it helps, supports, and improves and enhances trans lives.
That's right. And then the last couple of hours here, we've got about 3 hours to go. You're welcome to come on down to the Pride Center and celebrate with us and hang out with us, enjoy some music. Kristen Goodman's about to play a set. We've got some more interviews with some local humans. I see Steph Perkins over in the wings waiting. We've got some, we're going to be continuing to center trans and queer folks in the metro area and talk to you, entertain you, and educate you about some of the things that the Metro Trans Umbrella Group does for the transgender, gender non-binary community here in St. Louis. Vital work, social emotional support is liberation. Social emotional support is what keeps us connected, and we believe that it's the cornerstone of the work that we do here at the Metro Trans Umbrella Group.
Yes, because transgender people are experiencing what? Liberation.
That's right.
Yes, liberation. Young trans, non-binary, and intersex humans will be aging into a system that is not equipped or built for them. MTUG is working to change that. We're going to take those humans that age up, as we call it, age up into MTUG. We have these support and we have these services for them. The time is now to engage transgender leadership. Support trans people is doing it on our own. Engage transgender people in a tangible and empowering way. When you invest in MTUG, you invest in the trans leadership. So when you invest in MTUG, you invest in trans leadership.
Right. You're investing in an organization that up until recently was all trans and non-binary and intersex humans in all leadership positions. Within the last year and a half, we invited Lady Ashley Gregory to be on our board because Lady Ashley has lifted a torch of allyship in this community, as she was recognized for last night with the Gregory Award, which is an award that's in her honor that we will, from here on out, give to allies that really lift the bar of allyship. And so, other than Lady Ashley Gregory, all the humans that are on our board are trans or non-binary or intersex folks, and we believe that that is building leadership. You're learning how to be on a board. That is power in the social structure of how things work in this country. And so when you're able to get that training and understand those ways, you can navigate the world in a different way.
Yes.
Everybody but two of us on the board now had never been on a board before. Like, that is powerful to give people the opportunity to lead and learn in that way and to model that behavior and say, you are worthy of doing that work. You are ready to be a leader.
You're cultivating leadership.
That's right. Yes. We got tired of hearing there's no qualified trans leaders. That is not acceptable, and that is no longer true. We are cultivating trans leadership.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and we're going to do that because this morning we're at a conference call.
We had a conference call.
We had a conference call this morning.
We did.
Yes, during Coffee Talk.
Yes.
Tell them who called in.
Mark Heasley.
Mark Heasley. We're not name dropping.
Yep, maybe.
And she said it's time for us here in St. Louis at MTUG to build trans leadership. We have to educate people. We have to cultivate trans leaders. We have to get trans or non-binary intersex people to public speak and go out and run for office. We got to get with the Victory Fund and get people trained and ready to run for office because we need some trans faces in Jefferson City.
And you know how you get to that place? Because in our liberation movement, many of our humans are not even getting their basic needs met. Healthcare, housing, jobs. That's the place that we need to start. And you know how you get a job, or you get the gumption to go out and get healthcare, or you get the gumption to go out and apply to maybe live in community with people, is you have a base of support of people that love you and support you and engage you and hold up that space that you are worthy of these things. And so that is the basis of what we do, because leadership is over here. But the immediacy that the Metro Trans Umbrella Group does is weekly, monthly, we support and love one another.
Yes. And when you get all those your basic needs done, that builds confidence.
Absolutely.
And then that confidence leads to greater things. So one hand feeds the other.
That's right.
So that's why it's important that we meet this $10,000 goal. That's why it's important that in the next 62 minutes,
Come on,
we get this $1,000 in here.
All right, what we got?
Okay, where we
we
at?
got a little total. We got a new total. Here
We're
we go.
at $7,792.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Here we
We're
go.
getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're
Yes.
getting there. So
And that was in a few minutes.
that's in
like
a few minutes. We
couple hundred
raised
bucks.
almost $300.
There we
So
go.
$292.
Let's keep it going,
So let's
St.
keep it
Louis.
going. Come on, people. Let's be that little engine that could. I think I can. I think I can. We're gonna do it because we are the big engines that did.
That's right.
Right. Yes. So right now, I'm excited about this next hour coming up, our 9 o'clock hour.
Yes.
Yes, we feel like we're on the Today Show or something like
Right.
that.
This 9 o'clock hour is top notch.
It is top A1.
It is like a prime time. You woke up, you've probably had your coffee, maybe you're sitting on your couch, maybe you're in your bed, you got your phone in your hand and you're scrolling through the Facebooks. Well, pause, because 9 o'clock is the hour. We've got Steph Perkins.
Steph, yes.
Yes, yes. Steph Perkins in the house. Who else? Who is our entertainment?
Now, you know, we have pulled out all the stops. He just released an album last week.
Right.
And we have it right
Yes.
here. Right here. Kristen Goodman is right here in the
Kristen
house.
Goodman.
She's going to sing for you this
Yes.
morning. You're going to take us to church?
You're going to sing something off your new album, Kristen Goodman?
All right.
So here we go.
Yes, yes.
Live.
Live.
And then we have,
The wonderful Jamie Hyman's going to be here.
yes, Jamie Heilman.
Catch me. It's action-packed.
I know. We've got all the trans, queer, loving, human talent leaders
Yes.
right here.
Yes. We
This
got
9
some.
o'clock hour. Plus, Left Bank Books, the best bookstore in the world.
Yes. It's going to match donations up till 10 o'clock. So get up, baby. Let's do this. Let's raise this.
$1,000.
Let's
do
raise
it.
$1,000 up
Let's
to
do it.
$1,000. Yes.
So I'm going to have you talk a little bit. I'm going to transition over here, and I
Okay.
will see you in a few minutes.
All right. So, what can I say after what's just been said? We all need y'all to donate. So please donate if you can. Call the number 314-287-5383. Text that number also will take your pledge. Go to Facebook / Metro Trans Umbrella Group. Push the donate now button. Go on our website, metrotrans.com. Press the donate button. Please, $5, $10, $25, $1,000 if you got it. Anything will help make this go. So, you ready? Oh, look at Fairy. It's like a picture over there. Picture of intelligence and fierceness. All right, right now, we're going to switch it on over there to Sayer, who has a fabulous interview to kick off our 9 o'clock hour. That's right.